And a very good Friday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again. The Ode of Pain podcast. Friday the 13th, September 13th, 2024. The Joe Benigno Ode of Pain podcast brought to you by the Hackensack Brewing Company. Brought to you by Anita Discount Tire. Brought to you by DraftKings. Brought to you by Manscaped. And brought to you by CardWinners.net. All right. We'll get to all the football. Week 2 coming up in the NFL. Last night, the Buffalo Bills 31-10 victory over the Dolphins down in Miami. Hard Rock, or whatever the hell they call the name of the stadium down there now. Really sounded like the game was in Buffalo. The Bills torched them. James Cook had 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 on a pass from Josh Allen. Tua Tagovailoa threw 3 picks in this game, including a brutal pick 6. But the big story of this game last night for the Dolphins is Tua in the third quarter went out with yet another concussion. Skylar Thompson finished up the game for Miami. We'll see how this affects Tua going forward. Remember, he had a couple years ago where he was knocked out of the season when he had a couple big concussions, and you just wonder where that's at for him now. So, big AFC East game last night. Buffalo goes to 2-0. Miami now 1-1. But the big news, we got to keep our eye on what happens now to Tua. We hope there's no big deal here for him, and he can come back and play, if not next week, very soon. But we'll keep an eye on that. But a big win for the Bills last night down in Miami. All right, we'll get to the NFL picks for week 2. We'll get to the Jets as they get ready to go down to Tennessee to play the Titans and, try to get off the snide after that brutal performance by the defense in the loss on Monday night to San Francisco. But I got to open with the Mets. I really do. I mean, how about the win the other day in Toronto? For what has really turned into a magical Mets season, and I don't think there's any other way you can say it. We know what his team was at the end of May, and they basically have the best record in baseball since then. They were 11 games under 500. Here they are now, 14 games over, 80-66. With 16 games left and a full game ahead of Atlanta for the final wild card spot in the National League, and only 2 games out of the top spot in the wild card race in the National League now, behind the San Diego Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So right now, you're a Met fan, you're delirious. But the game against Toronto, this is one of those games where you start to, if you haven't already as a Met fan, where you start to say to yourself, boy, maybe there is really something going here with this team this year. They're getting no hit for 8 innings, okay, by this guy Francis, and he is just dominant against them. And this has kind of been, let's be honest, Met fans, this has kind of been the MO of this team for a while. I mean, how many games have we seen? They don't get a hit for 5 innings. They don't get a hit for 6 innings. But the starting pitching has been so good, with Minaya, with Peterson, with Severino. And yesterday it was Minaya again who pitched. He basically gave up 1 run over 6 2/3 innings. The bullpen has been a lot better. That's kept the Mets in games until they finally found a way to scratch out runs and get a few hits. But this game has to be, when we look at all the different wins, the great walk-off wins, the games against Baltimore, the home run by Alvarez, the home run by Jesse Winker in the Baltimore series, just to mention a couple. Some of the games that they pulled out this year that you say to yourself, boy, how the hell did they win this game? Well, of all of them, this had to be number one. They're getting no hit for 8 innings. They're losing 1-0. Francisco Lindor, who really should be, and I want to get to this too, really should be the MVP in the National League, okay? And we'll break that down in a second. But Francisco Lindor, all right, on an 0-2 pitch with this kid Francis pitching a no-hitter, hits I don't know if it was a fastball down the middle, whatever it was. Francisco buries it in the seats in right field to tie the game at 1-1, and that opened up the floodgates. You got a sac fly from Alonso after the bullpen started walking people. Sac fly from Alonso, sac fly from Marte, and then, of all people, Francisco Alvarez, and boy, isn't he due to get hot, hits a monster 3-run home run to really put the capper on it. Diaz comes in I think it was Stanek who was in the 9th inning. Diaz comes in and bails him out, and really a 1-pitch save, and the Mets win the game 6-2. It had to be the best win of the year for this baseball team, and I don't think there's any question about it. So as we go into now the last couple weeks of the season, 16 games left for the Mets, and they have let's be honest, a very tough schedule. They go to Philadelphia now. They play 3 games over the weekend against the Phillies. It's going to be Quintana tonight. It's going to be Severino tomorrow afternoon, and then Sunday afternoon, it'll be David Peterson pitching against the Phillies down at Citizens Bank. So 3 big games against them. Then the Mets come home. They got 3 games with the Nationals, which is never easy. Washington just played the Braves very tough. 3 games with the Nationals, and then 4 games with Philadelphia that will close out the home portion of the Mets' regular season schedule. Then they go to Atlanta for what shapes up right now as being 3 absolutely monster games. And by the way, the Mets have changed their rotation now. They've changed the rotation setup that in the Atlanta series, their 3 best pitchers, Peterson, Minaya, and Severino, will be pitching against the Braves. So that's been set up that way now. And then they close the season in Milwaukee against the Brewers, who are on their way to winning the National League Central championship. So very, very tough schedule for the Mets coming up. But we'll see what happens. Aaron Nola on the mound tonight for Philadelphia. But this Met team now, they've come so far. Why not now? Now, to me, they got to make the playoffs. If they go 10-6 the rest of the way, that's 90 wins. You can't tell me they're not getting in. Can you imagine that we are actually talking about the Mets winning 90? And my buddy who calls me all the time on the Saturday morning show, Stan in Westport, who really is a Red Sox fan, and they lost a tough game to the Yankees last night. Juan Soto with a walk-off game-winning single in the bottom of the 10th inning to beat Boston 2-1. But be that as it may, this is not a very good Red Sox team. They're not making the playoffs. But Stan in Westport, when the Mets were 11 games under, on my show said the Mets are going to win 88 games this year. Well, to win 88 games now, the Mets only got to play 500 ball the rest of the way. If they go 8-8, that's 88 wins. So, but I think 10-6 is very realistic, even though the schedule is tough. Very realistic to get them to 90 wins, and I think if they get to 90, they're making the playoffs. I mean, I really do think that. So we'll see what happens. But right now, you're delirious right now if you're a Met fan. There's no other way to say it. And now we're hearing that we may see Senga come back before the end of the regular season. So that would be a massive deal for this baseball team. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, here are the Mets, 80-66, with a 1-game lead in the wild card with 16 games to go. Who would have thought that? I mean, it has been, what a tremendous season this has been for the New York Mets. And I got to give credit. When I was all over David Stearns, I was all over Steve Cohen, and boy, was I wrong. I mean, yeah, and I was wrong, and I'm thrilled I was wrong, because basically every move Stearns has made has come out roses. I mean, really, every one. And the best move of all, as I've said over and over again, was the hiring of Carlos Mendoza as the manager. This guy has been tremendous. He should be the manager of the year. To me, it's not even debatable. Not even debatable. But Mets rarely win awards. I guess Showalter did win it a couple of years ago. But even so, that didn't work out too good in the end of the day. But anyway, we'll see. But let's get back to Lindor for a second. Now, everybody loves Shohei Ohtani, right? Oh, Ohtani, he's going to hit 50 homers and he's going to steal 50 bases. And obviously the Dodgers are cruising to winning the National League West, okay? So we know that's happening. But everybody gets crazy, Ohtani. Oh. And Ohtani's numbers are better than Lindor's. Okay, Lindor's batting like 270. He has 31 homers. He has 85 RBIs. I believe he stole 26 bases. But here's the thing, to me, that even though he won't get it, and I got to have some water, I'm telling you, the hardest time for me to talk is in the morning. I hate this, man. I got a terrible throat. My throat's a disaster, really. I don't want to get into it. Nobody cares about my ailments, but nevertheless, it really is. But, come on. I don't want to swear. But anyway, let's get back to Lindor. Here's the difference between, to me, Lindor and Ohtani. Ohtani's a DH. He don't play the field. He's not pitching this year, all right? He's a DH. Francisco Lindor is playing every inning of every game at probably next to catcher, because I think catcher is probably the most difficult position to play defensively in baseball, right? The second toughest position is shortstop. And he plays it flawlessly. I tell you, with him and Iglesias up the middle as a double play team, I mean, these guys, they put on a show sometime with some of these double plays up the middle. I mean, it's been tremendous. But in all due respect to Jeff McNeil, who's done for the year now after he got hit on the wrist by a pitch. But anyway, hopefully the Mets can get him back for the playoffs if they get there. But Lindor plays every inning of every game. He's the leader of his team. And let's not forget, okay, let's not forget this. When the Mets were 11 games under 500 and looked dead in the water on May 30th, or whenever it was, June 1st, Lindor called a team-only meeting. And ever since that meeting, the Mets have played the best baseball in the major leagues. And, of course, Mendoza also made maybe the most critical move that Mendoza has made all year, and that was putting Lindor in the leadoff spot in the lineup. And everything has changed since then. So I know Lindor's not going to get it. The Mets always get hosed in these MVPs. I mean, you go back to Tom Seaver in 1969. He went 25-7 with a 2.21 ERA for the team that went on to win the World Series, right? And they gave the MVP to Willie McCovey in a year where the Giants didn't even make the playoffs. And I know McCovey is an all-time great. I know it, 521 home runs, all that. But they host Seaver. Seaver finished second. He got screwed. He should have been the MVP. Of course, Seaver should have been the MVP that year, as well as the Cy Young Award winner. But, as always, the Mets get screwed. Then you get fast forward to 1988, right? The Mets win 100 games that year, right? They win even though they would lose to the Dodgers, they win the National League East pretty easily. Darryl Strawberry has 39 home runs. I believe it was 104 RBIs that year. He also had 36 stolen bases on a team with the best record in baseball, and they gave the MVP to Kirk Gibson, okay, who I don't even know if he played because he had injury issues, and I know he was the star of the World Series, that big home run off Eckersley and all of that against Oakland. I get it in Game 1. But, he barely played 100 games that year. And even though the Mets lost to the Dodgers in the playoffs, they beat them 10 out of 11 times in a regular season. And so they screwed Strawberry, and I know a lot of the vote was split with the Mets because of that, complete asshole Kevin McReynolds taking a lot of votes away from Darryl, but we got hosed there too. So there's no way, there is no way that the baseball writers who are in love with Ohtani, okay, and let's be real with this too, and I've said this over and over again, if you think that there is not a bias against the New York teams, think again. Think again. The Mets have never had an MVP winner, and Lindor won't win it. But you know what? When you really break it down and look at the job he has done and the fact that he plays every day in one of the most demanding defensive positions in baseball, every inning of every game, okay? As well as all the other great things he's done. Remember this, okay? And I didn't coin this phrase, so I'm not taking responsibility for it. But I forget who said it. The greatest ability is availability. Who cares how good you are if you don't play? And I know Ohtani's played. I don't know if he's played every inning of every game, but he doesn't play in the field. So, he probably has, or at least every time he's come to bat. So I don't think Lindor will get it, but to me, he's the MVP in the major leagues, in the National League this year. Obviously, Aaron Judge will win it in the American League, as he should. But again, Lindor, what a great year he's had. But here we go, Met fans, buckle up. 16 games to go. I think if they get to 90, that gets it done. I think if they get 88 wins, I think it's going to get it done. But it all starts tonight in Philadelphia, Citizens Bank. I'm pumped up. You're a Met fan. You got to be pumped up. Get the gear on tonight. Let's go. I'm a little concerned with Quintana pitching tonight, although he has pitched pretty good the last couple times out. So we'll see what he does tonight against Philly. But Mets need to hit tonight. Mets can't go 8 innings or 5 innings or 6 innings without a hit. And I know Aaron Nola is a very good pitcher. The Mets have had, they've been, Nola's had mixed bag with the Mets. There's been times that he's pitched great against them. There's been times when the Mets have gotten to him. So we'll see how that plays out tonight. But, the Mets can't keep going, 5, 6, 7, 8 innings without getting hits and pulling games out. They need to do some bashing tonight at a very bashable ballpark in Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. All right, we'll come back. Let's get our responses in here now, and we'll get to the football. We'll get to my picks for week 2. I went 2-3 last week. I'm already knocked out of the knockout pool because I had Cincinnati against New England, so I'm done. I'm not giving any more knockouts. You do that on your own. I'm finished. Once I go out, I don't give a damn anymore. All right? All right. Let's get our sponsors in here. Obviously, our longtime sponsor, the Hackensack Brewing Company. Now, a week from tonight, our next live podcast at the Brewing Company, September 20th. My good buddy Jake Asman will be there. Synonymous to Jet fans. You all know Jake. By the way, I do his show now. I'll be on every Monday or the day after every Jet game. I'll be on with Jake at 10 o'clock in the morning on his great show on his podcast. So keep that in mind. You want to check me out with Jake. But he will be with us on Friday for the next live podcast at the Hackensack Brewing Company. And that's going to be interesting because the Jets will have played 2 more games until once we get to that. It'll be the night after the Thursday night opener against New England. And you know the deal. Located 10 minutes off the George Washington Bridge, less than 30 seconds off Route 4 in beautiful Who Needs a House out in Hackensack. Tap rooms open 4:30 to 10 Monday through Friday, 2 to 10 Saturday, 12 to 8 on Sunday. 78 Johnson Avenue in Hackensack. See Mike Jones. His Raiders got bashed by the Chargers last week. See Mike Jones. See TJ, Andre, everybody over there. It's going to be a big night with Jake Asman a week from tonight, September 20th, at the Hackensack Brewing Company, the next live podcast. I want to welcome in before we do that, of course, I need a discount tire. Check them out. If you want to see Johnny, he's on his way to Alaska on Sunday. God bless him. You couldn't pay me enough money to go to Alaska, but whatever, okay? Be that as it may. I hope he has a safe trip there and all. He's doing a cruise. He's got to fly to Seattle. You couldn't pay me money to fly to Seattle, but whatever that is. Check out Johnny. Check out his great boss, Ari. Does a tremendous job. Rob, one of their top mechanics. They get it done there. You need work done on your car. You need tires. You need your car inspected. Anything with your automotive needs. You got to go to Anita Discount Tire in Rivervale, beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey on Westwood Avenue, and tell them I sent you. But Johnny won't be there next week if you want to see him. If you got to check him out today. Also, our newest advertiser, let's bring in my buddy Avi, and I want to thank him, and that is cardwinners.net. Now, if you're in the hunt for the best credit card deals, look no further than cardwinners.net. Whether you're searching for a personal credit card that suits your everyday needs, a business card to help manage your company's expenses, or a card that offers fantastic perks like airline points and cash back, we got you covered. Our site also features cards with promotional 0% APR offers and outstanding sign-up bonuses to help you get the most out of your spending. Explore my top picks on cardwinners.net, and you'll find my top picks there as well. Don't wait. Visit cardwinners.net today to discover the best credit card deals available. Cards, of course, subject to credit approval, terms and conditions apply. Now, you know, of course, about DraftKings. If you're going to do any betting, this is the way to go. TD, Tutty. I never heard a touchdown called Tutty. I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't sound very football-like. Taking it to the house, whatever you call a touchdown, they matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You ready to place your NFL bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. How about the Jets win? How about Aaron Rodgers on Sunday? And I'm hearing the weather is supposed to not be very good in Nashville. All my buddies that are going there, Joey Luzuski, Tommy Keenan, everybody going down there, I'm hearing the weather is going to be shaky there, so we'll see. But how about Aaron Rodgers throwing like 3 touchdown passes and we go out and smoke the Titans this week down in Tennessee? How about the defense actually showing up in this game? We will see. But if you're ready to place your bet, try betting on something simple, like I said, like a player to score a touchdown. Maybe Jermaine Johnson gets a sack. Maybe you want to bet on that. Maybe Sauce Gardner, who hasn't had an interception in 2 years, maybe gets one in this game. We'll see. But you ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? Score big with DraftKings Sportsnet, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code OTHEPAIN. That's OTHEPAIN for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium only on DraftKings. Now, the crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. If you live in the just wonderful state of Connecticut, help is available for problems gambling. Call That is 888-789-7777. That's 4 sevens. Or visit ccpg.org. And please play responsibly. And last but certainly not least, my good buddies at Manscaped had another Manscaped moment last night. It all went well. I know everybody's concerned about that. And you know the deal, okay? The leader in male grooming, Manscaped, are helping us to spice up the hair care regimen. I said regime. I don't want to. The bottom line is this, okay? They have the new scalp buffer, and I have used the scalp buffer. And you know what else I love? I have the new shampoo and conditioner from Manscaped, and I'm using it. I love it. And not only do I use it to shampoo my hair. There you go. I see how my hair looks in the morning. Isn't that great? I know I look like what's your name, Larry Howard. But anyway. He was better looking, I get it. But I don't think he was a Jet fan. There was no Jets back then. Anyway, where was I? Oh, the shampoo and conditioner from Manscaped, which I've been using. And I don't only use it as a shampoo. I use it as a body wash, too. And it works out. My body smells great. My wife was commenting how good I smelled yesterday and all of that. So you got to check out the scalp buffer and the Manscaped shampoo and conditioner. I'm having a tough time talking, but they got everything. It's not just the lawnmower Ultra, 5.0 that takes care of everything, right? Takes care of everything down below, so you look good and everybody's happy, and your confidence levels up because it looks like you're bigger than you are. We've been through this a million times, but now they got the scalp buffer. Now they got the shampoo and conditioner, and they also got underwear. You got to love it. Manscaped T-shirt. I love wearing the Manscaped underwear, especially when I'm playing golf. It keeps my balls in, and the only balls I want out are my golf balls, and I want them way out, you know what I mean? Or in the hole would be even better. But nevertheless, Manscaped, check out the underwear. It's top drawer. So they got everything, man. Manscaped does it all. Take your scalp from zero to hero with the scalp buffer. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code OTAPAIN at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code OTAPAIN. Manscaped.com. Guys, check it out. I'm telling you, it's the only way to go. All right. The NFL picks coming up. Let's do a little drum roll. NFL picks here coming up for week number 2. Didn't have a great week last week. I went 2-3. Last week, unfortunately, which is not bad. You know what? 2-3 for the opening week. I'll live with it because you never know. Opening week's so tough. I stupidly took both of the New York teams last week. You know how that worked out. I also stupidly took the Bengals, who laid as big an egg as you can in losing 16-10 to the New England Patriots, and they also knocked me out of the knockout pool before I even got in, pretty much. Watch out for New England, but whatever. I won with the Cowboys getting 2.5 in Cleveland against the very overrated Cleveland Browns. And I won with the Steelers, who getting 3 in Atlanta against the Falcons. They won that game 18-10. Chris Boswell kicked 6 field goals in that game. Justin Fields started, and the Cowboys won their game 33-17 against Cleveland. So 2-3 last week, and we'll see if we can do better in week 2. So here we go. Game 1. I'm taking the Ravens laying 8 at home against the Raiders. I look for the Ravens to have a big bounce-back game this week after that very tough loss the opening Thursday night in Kansas City against the Chiefs. Look for Lamar Jackson to really get going here in this game. Look for the defense to play well. Raiders got beat 22-10 by the Chargers last week and didn't look good doing it. Gardner Minshew, I think, is going to have a very tough game against Baltimore here. You know what? I watched a little of that game with the Chargers. I didn't like what I saw from the Raiders. I love Antonio Pierce as a coach. I just wonder how good this Raider team is, and I wonder really. I know Minshew's had some good moments over the years in the different places he's been, but I got a feeling the Ravens are going to be snarling after that Week 1 loss. You're laying 8. It's kind of a big number. To me, this is a blowout for Baltimore. Give me the Ravens laying 8 at home against the Oakland, L.A., Las Vegas Raiders. Game 2, and my feeling for this team now has completely transformed with Jim Harbaugh now as the head coach in San Diego, L.A. And we saw the Chargers last week. As we mentioned, they beat the Raiders. They're a 6-point favorite on the road against the worst team in the NFL, and that's the Carolina Panthers. Panthers got whacked last week, 47-10 by the Saints. Bryce Young does not look any good. And the Chargers, like I said, they look like a different team with Harbaugh. We'll see how I still think Justin Herbert's a little overrated, but he's certainly got the right coach to get his game going the right way. J.K. Dobbins had a monster game running the football last week against the Raiders. He looked good. The defense looked good, led by Joey Bosa and his name is escaping me, Khalil Mack. They looked good rushing the quarterback last week. They played well. Their defense looked solid. And you're laying 6. The game's in Carolina. The Panthers stink. This looks like a real blowout win for the San Diego LA Chargers. So give me the Chargers laying 6 in Carolina against the Panthers, game 2. Game 3, I went with this team last week. I'm going back to them again. I'm taking the Cowboys at home, laying 6.5 against the Saints. Look, the Saints had the big win last week, put 47 on the board against Carolina. That's not going to happen here. And I watched the Cowboys last week against Cleveland, and we know one thing about the Cowboys. Yeah, they always, shit the bed in the playoffs, but Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott know how to win games in a regular season. Prescott got his money a couple hours before the start of the season last week in Cleveland. C.D. Lamb got paid earlier than that. The Cowboys really look good. Prescott had a solid game. Zeke Elliott is back now running the football for them. Lamb doing his thing. But the most impressive thing I saw last week from the Cowboys against Cleveland was the defense under the new defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer. Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence were in the backfield last week more than Deshaun Watson was. He really was. So I like the Cowboys again. 6.5 at home. I think they're going to win easily. I think the Saints may be a little bit of a hangover after that easy win last week against Carolina. It won't be the same deal for the Saints this week. Give me the Cowboys laying 6.5 at home against New Orleans, game 3. Game 4, and this is my lock of the week. You ready for this, guys? My lock of the week, I hate to do this, but I see it coming. Give me the Patriots getting 3.5 at home against the Seahawks. The most shocking game last week had to be New England beating the Bengals in Cincinnati 16-10. Gerard Mayo, the new coach there. Jacoby Brissett, you can win games with him at quarterback, and he's the quarterback right now for this team. I don't know how long we're going to see Drake May. I would think as long as the Patriots continue to win, you're going to see Brissett. But one thing the Patriots have, they have an opportunistic defense. They force turnovers. A memo to my team. The Patriots force turnovers. Biggest play in the game last week. I forget who it was. Going in for a touchdown for Cincinnati. Kyle Duggars knocked the ball out of his hands. The Patriots recovered it. They did not score a touchdown. That changed the game. New England went on to win it 16-10. Seattle, they beat Denver last week. I know at home. They did not look that impressive doing it. And now they got to travel all the way, to Foxborough from Seattle to play the Patriots, and they're 3.5-point favorites. I don't see it. I think New England's winning this game outright. I hate to say it. I think the Patriots are going to be 2-0 when they play the Jets on Thursday night. But I'm telling you right now, I love New England in this game. This is my lock of the week. New England getting 3.5 at home, they're going to win the game outright, okay? And you're getting 3 with the hook. So give me New England plus 3.5. I hate to say it. My lock of the week at home against the Seahawks. And finally, I'm going back again to the teams that won with me. I went with Dallas, who won for me last week, and I'm going with the Steelers, who won for me last week again. They're a 2.5-point favorite on the road in Denver, and I understand Denver's a tough place to play. But, how good is Denver? Any good? Bo Nix is the quarterback, didn't do much last week in a loss to Seattle. I know Pittsburgh didn't score a touchdown week 1. Justin Fields started. We'll see whether Tomlin goes back to Russell Wilson. Apparently Wilson was banged up. That's why he didn't start in the game last week for the Steelers against the Falcons. I like Pittsburgh. I love Mike Tomlin. To me, he's the best. Now with Belichick gone, the best coach in the NFL is Mike Tomlin, as far as I'm concerned. He really is. All due respect to Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and a couple other guys that are out there that are, Harbaugh as well, who are top coaches in the league. I think he's the best coach in football, Tomlin. Give me the Steelers. They still got that big-time defense. T.J. Watt's back doing his thing. Cameron Haywood, all those guys there. Mika Fitzpatrick. Love the Steelers in this game. Denver's not any good. I realize how tough it is to play in Denver. I get it. Probably the toughest venue to go into. Maybe that in Seattle. But they're just not any good. So give me the Steelers laying 2.5 on the road in Denver against the Broncos. So the Benigno picks again for week 5. Give me week 5, week 2. I don't want to get ahead of myself. The season goes fast enough. Give me the Ravens laying 8 at home against the Raiders. Give me the Chargers laying 6 on the road in Carolina against the Panthers. Give me the Cowboys at home laying 6.5 against New Orleans. Give me the Patriots, my lock of the week, getting 3.5 in Foxborough against Seattle. And give me the Steelers laying 2.5 on the road against the Denver Broncos. Sorry about my throat here. The Joe Benigno NFL picks week 2 in the National Football League. All right, now before we leave, just a note on the Jet game this week. Look, I'm hearing the weather's not very good. The Jets need to win this game. They really do. And, the defense has got to play a lot better than they're playing. They're not playing the San Francisco 49ers. Will Levis, or whoever the quarterback is right now, didn't have a great game last week against the Bears. Remember, they blew a big lead in that game and basically handed the game to the Bears in Chicago. Caleb Williams did nothing. I'm hearing there's a lot of rain there. I know the Southeast has had some rain down in Mississippi. My niece goes down to school at Ole Miss. They had some bad weather. I don't know about my daughter in Alabama. I haven't talked to her. But anyway, that weather may be coming to Nashville, so we'll see how that plays out. But I expect the Jets to bounce back here. This is a big game for them. This is a huge game. Because I'll tell you right now, and I know that Rodgers said, relax and all of that, no panic setting in. And I agree. I'm not panicking yet after week 1, a loss to maybe the best team in football on the road. But they need this game because I'll tell you right now, the panic is going to start setting in. If they lose to the Titans and they're 0-2 going into Thursday night against a Patriot team, who I think is going to be 2-0. So we'll see what happens here. This is a big game for the Jets. One last thing, and this goes to the coach. And I have not been communicating. I just want to tell you, I have not communicated at all to the coach in a long time. All I'm going to say is this. I would have liked to see him lay into his defense instead of after his team got freaking hammered and torched by San Francisco, telling me, "Oh, don't worry, the defense is fine. We're going to fix it." I don't want to hear that. After they got absolutely run over by the Niners, I got to hear him telling me, "Don't worry, it'll be all right." Well, it better be all right this week. I can tell you that. And hopefully he laid into this defense, although something tells me he didn't. But this is a big game for the Jets, and they need to win this game. Well, I'm telling you, all of a sudden the nervousness is going to start swirling around there at Florham Park. All right. Don't forget, check me out tomorrow. I'll be on from 10 to 12:30 tomorrow on The Fan, my normal Saturday show. Check me out Monday. Monday, I'll be all over the place. Check out my podcast Monday after the Jet game on Sunday. Check me out with Jake Asman at 10 o'clock on his show. Check me out at 4 o'clock with Evan and Tiki on The Fan on their show. That'll be the Monday lineup. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the football. Let's go Mets. Let's go Jets. And as always, God bless America. All the love.